Hey everyone, welcome to our webinar over digital citizenship. We are here, Wakelet, with WeVideo today, and we have been watching all of you join. We know digital citizenship is a huge topic. I want to introduce my co-hosts and guests. We're all co-hosts and guests, right, today. Ryan Kochever and Alex Isaacs are with us. You see Alex is wearing his WeVideo shirt today, so he is definitely representing. And welcome, Ryan. It's good to have you.
Hi, thanks for joining up and doing this with us today, with me today. And it's just going to be a great experience to share all things WeVideo and digital citizenship with everyone. So hello.
Hey, Alex. How are you?
I'm all right, Tisha. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, this is my favorite topic ever, honestly. I don't think a lot of people know that, but I love talking digital citizenship. I talk about it because I think it is a timeless topic, but I think it also spans every age group. So it doesn't matter if you're a student, a teacher, an administrator, or just an adult, walking down the street, you're on your phone, you're using social media. I think that this topic is something that we need to continue talking about. Ironically, Ryan, what is this week? This week has special significance, correct?
The week coming up.
Is it next week?
It is. We start on the 6th.
Well, see, that's how I don't know, because for me, every week is Digital Citizenship Week.
No, you're that ready for Digital Citizenship Week that we're going to bump it up one week.
I want to bump it up to every week. You're gonna find that today, Alex. I think it's something we need to do every single day. But let's take some time and just look in the chat and see who we have with us. We want to welcome all of you. I see a lot of you from Egypt and Iraq. I saw one of our Wakelet certified trainers, Jackie. So shout out Jackie. Ryan, do you see anybody from your community at all? Or do you have any colleagues who've hopped in? I'm like, is Ryan still here? There he is.
There he is.
Not that I see yet, but if you're out there, shout it out. If you're a WeVideo user, if you're coming to us from that space, I've got my guy Stu. He's monitoring our YouTube channel. I am having some doubling in the audio, so I'm having a hard time hearing y'all. So I'm going to get that sorted out and be back on with you in just a second.
Okay, perfect, Ryan. So I see some people from Norway, Alex, and Massachusetts, Connecticut, Chicago, Arizona. Sarah's from Arizona. How's the weather there, Sarah? That's always the question. Who else do you see in here, Alex? Anybody else?
Well, I see Hossein, who I've seen in many different webinars. He's always so supportive. I saw Jackie, one of our fellow trainers, very excited to have her here. I know Lois is going to be hopping on soon, and I know Ryan was looking for some WeVideo users at the moment. He's got me right here. You know, WeVideo ambassador, technically the last one before the program was kind of revamped and coming out very soon. So I do kind of feel like I was the death knell of the ambassador program at WeVideo previously.
I bet that's not true, Alex. I bet it's not. I see another WeVideo user in the chat. Mark is here with us. A lot of people were loving our backgrounds. Thank you. We decided to be like Ryan. He came in with a really cool background, so we essentially just copied him. He should be back here. Monique is here for WeVideo, so shout out Monique. We love that these communities have come together. Lisa, thank you so much for joining. It's just a really, really great time. And I think WeVideo and Wakelet go really well together as far as this digital citizenship topic that we're going to talk about. So Alex, I'm going to ask that we're going to share your screen. So do you have our collection of resources up that we're going to share? I'm going to go ahead and add that to the stage.
I sure do.
And I'm going to have you scroll down just a bit. We're going to pop Ryan back on. Ryan, are you with us?
Yep. Sorry about that. Audio
you sound
solved.
Much better.
Okay, great.
Okay, so what we have for you today is a Mentimeter, and we want you to answer this question. So I'm going to pop the question in, or the link to this Mentimeter in the chat so that you have the ability to click on that link and answer this question. What do you believe is the most important digit skill that we can teach students today? So, I think that this is an ever-changing answer. And I think if I ask Ryan and Alex, I bet your answers are going to be completely different than what I even anticipate. So I am going to ask you guys, Alex, what do you think is the most important skill for students today?
Well, I might be a little bit biased because at my previous school district, I was a part of a project where we really delved into being informed in the digital age of media, trying to figure out biased viewpoints, reputable, productions of media information, being able to decide whether if something just has a bunch of reposts or something like that, whether it's actually real. So we did a whole project. It was so fun, probably the most memorable moment of my teaching career. And we really centered ourselves on focusing on the informed pillar of digital citizenship. So that's what it is for me.
Ryan, what about you?
It's a couple things for me. I think it's similar to what Alex was talking about. I think I've done a lot of work in media literacy and specifically propaganda studies. And so teaching, students as young as elementary school how to recognize misinformation or how to understand the messaging of media and its impact on us, I think is a really important skill to teach. And doing that through the production of media, it's what we're going to talk about today, right? Is something that can help combat or cultivate those skills in order for students to recognize how messages are created and intended for audience, right? And so I think for me, it's definitely on how to consume media and understand the message, and then how to produce it and how we're communicating to audiences.
I just want to shout out to all the people who are giving love to WeVideo, Ryan, because while you were gone, we have a lot of WeVideo users in the chat who were saying, we love WeVideo. So it's really great to see all of them. I'm going to read some of these answers that our audience had for what they believe the most important skill is. There's lots of being safe online. Balance. I will have to say, I think balance is something that our students really need to be reminded of. We talked information literacy, privacy and ethics, I think is a really big one. Critical thinking and media literacy, just technology in general. I didn't expect that answer, but what I will tell you is I think that we have an assumption as adults, especially adults who sort of grew up with the technology. I didn't have the technology growing up, and then I had to learn it as it was introduced. But I think there's an assumption that because these students were born in this digital age and they essentially were born with devices in their hands, that technology skills come easy to them. And I don't think that's true. So I think the creation, as you were saying, Ryan, is a very important skill. Assuming that a student will be able to record a video, know how to upload that, know how to download that, know what the extensions are. I think we're asking a lot, honestly, and I think there's an assumption that they all just know, and they don't. Did you know this? And Alex may know this, but we had a webinar a couple of weeks ago, and it was talking about the skills that students will need in 2025. And in my research and doing that, it said that like 75% of us are going to need to go back and relearn all the old stuff plus the new stuff so that we can kind of keep moving forward. And if we aren't moving forward, how are we going to lead our students to do that? I think that's really what I want you to think of today. And that's why I'm very passionate about this, because if we do not model that, how are they ever going to learn it? Because they can't do it on their own. Some other things that I thought are interesting on these answers, because I have a lot of answers coming through, and we haven't really touched on that, but artificial intelligence, right? There is a lot of controversy out there, no matter which way you go on that topic. But there's lots of controversy about if we should use it in classrooms and if we shouldn't use it in classrooms, and if teachers should be able to use it and if they shouldn't. And I had a meeting yesterday with someone who said that their district doesn't even want their teachers talking about it. And I thought, well, okay, we can't put our head in the sand necessarily and think it's going to go away, because it's not going away. So really great answers. Somebody said coding. which I think is really cool. We've talked about coding, but lots of really great answers. Keep those coming in. I'll check those as we continue the webinar, and maybe I'll send Alex the link so he can share that as well. But here is just a quick overview in my research, because you know I like to research all the things. These are some of the hot topics, and you'll recognize that these topics really speak to common sense media, ISTE standards. A lot of your state standards are hitting on this as well. But these are the topics that come up most often. And again, online privacy and security is always something that I think any of us in this ed tech space are talking about. Parents are concerned, admins concerned, even the students are becoming concerned because they're realizing they don't own their own data. So just a really, really great overview of topics there. And we're going to talk a little bit about Wakelet. So I didn't do an official introduction, but I'm Tisha Poncio, digital learning specialist at Wakelet. I was a former educator for 22 years in a public classroom in Texas, a digital learning coach for 13 of those years. And my passion is really working with students and empowering them to be leaders of tomorrow. That's the true story. And that's what led me to Wakelet. If you are not familiar with Wakelet, Wakelet is a platform where students can curate their own content, curate other content, save, organize, present, and share, just like Alex is doing today, from a single collection. So you'll notice that we have some WeVideos in collections, so many multimedia options there. And then the other thing I want to talk about today is our Wakelet Student Ambassador Program. So if you are familiar with Wakelet, you know that we have a program specifically for students to learn about digital citizenship. So I was honored enough to help MISPA work on this program. And we really got to talk about, you know, what is important for the students to learn aside from just learning the platform. So I think a lot of times we think, well, the platform is going to be the end all, you know, be all, but what are they learning in the platform? So content curation, collaboration, critical thinking, right? Communication, and then curating that all to create this online presence with a portfolio. So I've popped in the resources, which you'll get later, some just benefits to you as a teacher. We've given you everything. You're not going to have to think about what those tasks are. You're not going to have to think about how you're going to get them a certificate. You'll sign up for this program. Your students will have everything they need, and you will guide them at your pace and their pace. So in my classroom, I was making my students, Alex, do this program in like 6 weeks, but your students may need to do that over the course of a semester or over the course of a year. And that's what's really great about this program is it's flexible. And then you start having conversations with your students on a daily basis that you probably were not having before. For example, when you create a playlist in Wakelet and you want to add an M&M YouTube video, maybe that's not appropriate to share with your school community, which was a real conversation that I had with a student. But we're going to have a link for you to sign up so that you can get started with your students. And below that, Alex, so I've done a little preview here. So here's an example. This is actually my son, so he always gets to be my guinea pig. We created a Wakelet collection using Canva to create his header, and then you see he has added photos and text and kind of explained, you know, what he likes doing and where he goes to school and some of his hobbies. But at the very top of that collection, you'll see that he has a video from WeVideo. Now, I have made this public, and he knew when he recorded it that he was going to be public. So when you click on that video, Alex, just to briefly show that, and you don't have to play it, but just to see, we had a conversation about, is this video going to be public? And I think it starts with that. He also asked, how long does the video need to be? What do you want me to say on this video? Those student ambassador tasks are going to tell you exactly what your student's going to do. And so I'm kind of hop it over to Ryan so that you can talk about this piece and how that plays into digital citizenship as well.
Absolutely. And I love that you're showcasing all the different kinds of media that you can use in a collection, because right, you have video, but then you're also, you have text and you have images. And so there's multiple ways for students to be able to complete a task or to demonstrate their understanding or
Yes.
demonstrate mastery, right? In a creative way that goes beyond just a traditional assessment. And that's
Absolutely.
something I think with the inclusion of WeVideo in this kind of work, it really does provide that option and that choice for how a student can share themselves or share with their teachers, what they know and how they know it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, do you want me to?
Yeah, Alex, take us back to our main collection, and we're gonna talk WeVideo. So we're gonna kind of change. We set up the Wakelet session for you, but we want to show you now how WeVideo can come into play with that. And Brian has some incredible resources to share with you next.
Yeah, absolutely. And hello, everybody. I didn't proper introduction because my audio is giving me some trouble. So apologize for having to drop off, but I'm glad to be back with you. I am Ryan Kochevar from WeVideo. I am one of our customer success directors, and I'm responsible for, creating content and for putting out resources to our users that help them understand all the different ways you can use our product and the power of video in the classroom. So I included a couple of videos for you in this collection, and you can watch them on your own time. They do kind of give you an overview of WeVideo, but just briefly, if you're not familiar with WeVideo, we are a cloud-based multimedia creation software that has been primarily known in the past for multimedia creation. So creating videos and editing videos, creating GIFs and memes, and creating audio-only podcasts as well. So all different kinds of media can be created and published, which is an important part of this conversation, using our product. But we've also, in the last year, added interactivity so that you can take WeVideos or YouTube videos or Vimeo videos and add an interactive layer on top of those videos, all in the same software. And we also have screen recording tools. So as you saw, Tisha's son used one of our screen recording tools, the webcam recorder. And that's, I think, in some of these activities that I'm going to showcase, those screen recording tools are going to come into play because those are really easy ways to access the ability for students to reflect or to share in an intuitive and simple way. And with the least amount of editing possible, right? Some students can do that in one take. The funny thing is, like, seeing your son, it reminds me of when I was creating some of the activities for the assignment idea library, which I'm going to showcase here. My son was in those some of those videos because I needed some example content, and so he graciously donated his time. And he was about 5 years old at the time. This was a couple years ago, and we also had a conversation. I said, this is going to go, and people are going to see this. It's going to be public for people. And he at 5, I think he was just excited that he got to make a video about his love of trains. But again, like, you connect to the things that we're talking about, like bringing that out, the personalization of a student's thinking is something that video can do really powerfully. So specifically as that relates to Digital Citizenship Week next week and cultivating those skills that we discussed at the top of this webinar, we have designed specific activities that you can use with your students next week or anytime really that you're teaching digital citizenship. So the first ones we've left here are public available resources on our website. So if you click on that link, it'll take you to wevideo.com and our video projects page. So those are direct links to two projects specifically related to digital citizenship. We have a Digital Citizen Superheroes project and a Digital Citizen Videos project. So these two activities are going to focus on a student sharing their understanding of digital citizenship skills and educating their peers and others about what is important about digital citizenship. And so we're going to take a deeper dive into this when we get into the product. But one thing I will point out is that these video projects are, they're going to come with descriptions for students. They're going to come with details for you, some tips, some templates, some example content, some example videos, so that you can understand how the project might play out in your context. And then you can easily publish it and assign it to your students. And the other thing is, in the resources section, when we get there, we have about 20 to 25 publicly available lesson plans for you. If you aren't a WeVideo subscriber and you don't have access to our assignment ideas library, you can access those video projects on our website. So let's get into the product and see how these assignments look in product. So if you scroll up to the digital citizenship superheroes, I'm getting tongue tied with that title. It's just down one right there. Yeah. So this is in product, and we have a number of assignments that we've designed and created that, yes, some of them are publicly available on the website, but there are many more inside the product. If you are not a WeVideo subscriber, you can access this by signing up for a 30-day trial. And I encourage all of you to do that. If you're not, so you can play around with these lessons and actually do them during Digital Citizenship Week. Because if you sign up this week, you'll have access to all of these assignments in product in order to complete them with your students. So again, this is a project in which a student will share a digital citizen superpower. So if you want to just play the sample video, there's no audio there. So it's just going to give you an idea of what the project looks like. So this student is filming himself, and he's the media literacy wizard, and his superpower is spotting false or misleading information. And his advantage is stopping conspiracy theories in their tracks. And his advice for all of you is to practice lateral reading by cross-referencing information from a trusted source. So this idea is taking what you're teaching about digital citizenship and allowing a student to translate that and personalize that for their own learning. And so it's just a fun way to teach digital citizenship, and then have the students show that they understand the specific aspects of that skill. So that's a really fun project to do. And the other one is digital citizen videos. We don't have to click into there, but that's another project which students are sharing. They're selecting a skill and they're sharing with their peers what they know about that skill and how to practice it, and giving some concrete examples of using that skill in practice. So when we decided to kind of collaborate on this webinar, and we were talking about the publication of content, and I want to focus there for just a second before I pitch it over to Alex to show you what this looks like in practice, the combination of WeVideo and Wakelet together. And I think what it is taking that content that students are creating, those assignments that they're doing using the multimedia creation tools, and sharing them to a portfolio, right? And because that's a huge part of the learning process that we believe in, is that the content should be able to live beyond the grade book, so to speak. So if you're just assigning projects and grading them and they're not getting farther than that, then the student doesn't have a chance for their voice to be heard, right, beyond the walls of the classroom, so to speak. And we talk a lot about creating that pyramid of authentic audience, where you're having peers watch it or community members watch the content that these students are creating. And I think digital portfolios are a great way to publish and get that content shareable, right? Especially for things like digital citizenship. It's important for students to understand who their audience is and that they're sharing themselves with the world. So a couple of the projects below those digital citizenship projects are examples of ways that you can use video or multimedia creation to provide those reflection opportunities and provide those opportunities to your students to think about themselves, the world, the projects that they were doing, and publish those to a digital portfolio as part of that reflection piece, right? So we have like TED style talk activities. We've got simple reflect and connect activities. One of them, the ones we like, is the I used to think, now I think activity. And that's a thinking routine. If you're familiar with the Project Zero thinking routines, we adapted this to a video project. So rather than, a text-based writing exercise or typing exercise, it's a video exercise where you're thinking through, you used to think about something, now I think, and this is a great reflection activity to then publish to a digital portfolio, right? And these, again, are all inside the product, and they exist as, what we call turnkey assignments. So you could take this and save it to a WeVideo class. I'm not going to get into the specifics here about the product. We have a ton of videos. If you want to know more, I might maybe include those just thinking off the top of my head right now in real time, include some videos on how you can create a class and assign projects within WeVideo. These are also customizable to your context as well. You can take one of these assignments and change it and differentiate it for your students. So I just wanted to point that out as well.
I think, Ryan, I just want to hit on that again, because I think the resource that we've shared from Wakelet, the Student Ambassador Program, as well as the lessons that you're sharing, I just want to let everybody know who's watching. If you're watching live or you're watching the recording, these are really meant, they're just a base for you, if you will, right? So feel free to adapt those. There was not a requirement in the task 1 of Student Ambassadors for there to be a video component, but like with everything else, how are you going to take that lesson and enhance it and level it up for your students, right? To do that authentic assessment. And I think what you said specifically about doing projects with students and then letting it sort of die in the grade book, I love that, because let me just be honest, I was one of those teachers that was giving assignments and really great projects in my early teaching days. And those projects, they didn't go anywhere past that, but they were incredible projects. Right. And I was not practicing that. I think this platform, WeVideo, and then being able to pull those into a Wakelet collection so that your students can see it and then have them do peer-to-peer feedback or teacher feedback. I know Alex is about to talk about a little bit about that. So I'm excited to hear how he's going to take what I said and what you said and mash them together.
And thank you so much, Tisha. One thing that I will share that, Ryan, I think is really important with regard to those activities that you share are those additional features and connections that are available on each of these in the bottom right corner, where you're either linking in additional resources or really explaining which ISTE standards you're touching on, taking that guesswork out of it for teachers. I feel like that's something that's really effective. So my name is Alex Isaacs. I'm very excited to be here with you all today. I am a WeVideo and Wakelet ambassador, Wakelet trainer. So these are two platforms that are very near and dear to my heart. During the hybrid and remote teaching years, I believe that video was one of the most important aspects, being able to create, having my students create. And before I get into 2 templates that I hope people will remix and make their own, I really just wanted to share this collection with you, where this was my attempt to really try to bring some level of normalcy to a highly abnormal school year over the past few years when we were in the hybrid and remote teaching phases of education. So really what was happening was I was looking at a group of students in a virtual classroom, seemingly being rather down, having a tough time getting by with the day-to-day. I really put it upon myself to say, I've incorporated video at my previous school. I need to now bring that to this school. So when I was at Red Bank, one thing that I was very proud of and something that's very memorable to me was my Mr. Isaac's 3 stars videos. And I'm simply putting this in this resource collection, probably for mostly comic relief of everyone. I'm not going to play any of these, but basically just taking a look at the different YouTube screen caps. I mean, here there's one of me doubled. You could see that I was going through a lot of range of emotions, I would almost say. That's one of me singing. Look at this one. I would really encourage you all to think about, how are we trying to connect with our students? Even though we're pretty much all back in person right now, video is something that helps make a connection. And basically the premise of each of these videos was celebrating one of my students from each of my 3 blocks. And then I would give a little blurb about each of them, try to tie in those digital citizenship aspects, if they were being responsible and balanced in their use of tech, if they were showing gratitude towards others, all of these different things. And in my entire teaching career, about 10 years, I would say that this video at the top might be the one that I'm most proud of. It's probably this and one that I did on digital citizenship with a group of students and teachers at my previous school. These are the ones that I think back to and are most memorable to me. So I would encourage all of you, take a scroll through some of these, and some of them I'm speaking Spanish. We have National Hispanic Heritage Month that I'm going to get to shortly. I would definitely recommend taking a look at this and seeing if you want to kind of incorporate this style of celebrating your students within your class. And what I can assure you is WeVideo, as you'll see with some of the screen caps that I've grabbed, and if you look through some of the examples that I've uploaded, you will see just how easy it is to make those videos interactive and more engaging. So the first real template that I have to share today is National Hispanic Heritage Month is taking place. It's almost over. We started on September 15th and it goes through October 15th. So I was lucky enough to be able to jump back into a classroom for one of the rare times since I've become an ed tech specialist. being with this group of fourth graders and Mrs. Cheryl Martin's class made me realize that as much as I am very passionate about teaching tech in my new position, I really do miss being in the classroom with students, having the laughs, and being able to record with them. That was so much fun. And being able to use WeVideo with them was even more fun. So basically what we have here is a template that you're going to use this as an example for you. Now, what I provided you is a video instruction message over on the left side plus welcome that I created with WeVideo. So you can see that's available if you want to kind of get my rationale for the project. But really for me, I wanted kids talking about their heritage, their cultures. I didn't want to exclude anybody considering it's National Hispanic Heritage Month. I figured to myself, you know what? We all love food and it's a big part of our culture. We all have traditions in our families. We hope, at least I hope so. So I wanted to open this up to everybody. And I was lucky enough to go into Mrs. Martin's class, soon to be ambassador with Wakelet, by the way. Tisha, we might have to get the wheels in motion on that. We nominated her, and I think she'd be a worthy addition to this fantastic community. But you could see that I took student responses and I organized them based on the prompt. So one thing that I'm always sharing with teachers is your students are a little bit reticent to participate in video or audio. Give them choice, give them options. You know, if I had just thrown one of these prompts at them, I think I would have gotten a lot less buy-in. But as a result of giving them three that were kind of applicable to regardless of your heritage or ethnicity, I think that I really got some amazing responses. So these are the ones that I wanted to highlight out of the great group that I was in, 2 classes. We started off with Sade, who talked about something called sawdust pudding. And once again, all you have to do is simply click on that link, and you're going to have her explaining it a lot better than me. So you have Analia, you have Emily, you have Junie and Gabby. These are such great heartfelt messages by these students. Again, grade 4, they kind of shared with me about their favorite foods, their passions. We had Emily share about the fact that Selena influenced her to become a dancer. And then one thing that I believe Ryan spoke about was that ability to give timely feedback. And not just feedback of me sitting behind a laptop and going, hey, Sade, I absolutely loved your video. What I'm talking about is you can go underneath and see me also looking a little bit funny in each of these, where I took screen caps from each of my videos and I provided individualized feedback to either the pairs who responded or the individual who responded. So again, for the purposes of our webinar today, I really hope that you will delve into these. In these screen caps, I included on WeVideo a GIF and a PNG. It is so easy. And I got to tell Ryan, I appreciate it so much being able to get back in on WeVideo and hit that next generation button. When I tell you it is so easy to edit and create engaging videos on there, I mean it. So really what you would do is if you're trying to get a last second National Hispanic Heritage Month activity into your practice, all you would have to do is it's going to look a little bit different on your end. You'll have a make a copy option right at the top. You make a copy of this. You can delete any of the student responses that are in there if you like, and then you could have your students hop onto WeVideo and be able to record their messages about their heritage, their traditions in their families, or a very influential Hispanic, Latino, or Latina figure in their lives. So I cannot share enough the connection that I had with these kids, you know, going back and forth with kids for the first time in a while, going, you know, you might be a little bit nervous, but don't worry about it. You're going to do great. It was just so fun. And I got to give a shout out to both Gabby and Sade. They were one-take wonders, just came in, sat down. I counted them in, even though WeVideo gave us a countdown as well. And I couldn't be more proud of the responses they gave. And I was happy to give my feedback to them as well. Now, we've kind of taken on the theme of digital citizenship with this webinar. So I said, I love creating templates on Wakelet. Let me create one that integrates WeVideo and Wakelet beautifully. So what I did was I created a template here. It's about digital citizenship in the form of a jigsaw project. So for those of us who are not familiar with jigsaw projects, basically you assign each student a role within a group. They become an expert on that area of the concept, and then they are sharing with their group members what they learned. So you're kind of really synthesizing ideas. You're coming together. You're developing ideas and collaborating, tapping into those 21st century skills that we really want our students to have. And basically what I did here, this one doesn't really have examples. This one was meant purely as a template. So 2 examples that Ryan discussed earlier, I also included them in this Wakelet collection. So if you don't have access to the other collection, that's the main one, which you will, so there's no problem there. They're both here as well, and I provided you a brief description there too. In the second column, once again, I provided video instructions, and you can see right here, I did picture-in-picture using WeVideo. The ability to layer different sets of video on top of each other is so easy. I love it. I added in some music, and to me, I kind of went for like a French jazz cafe / bar to go back to ISTE when it was myself, Tisha Poncio, and Ryan at a jazz bar, just having a grand old time listening to people talk about WeVideo and the importance of video in their classes. So we have that available.
It's like you summoned us, Alex.
Did I? Well, hey, why not? I mean, that was probably the moment of my ISTE experience, being at that club with you both, along with Lois as well, and other friends. And it was just so fun to be able to, hear people speak passionately about video.
So I have a question that maybe both of you can answer, because I obviously do a lot of video recording. I do a lot of our recordings for the Student Ambassador Program, Wakelet Certified Educator course. But my question is, because I use one, is there a built-in teleprompter into the WeVideo platform? If my students are having issues, maybe coming up with what they're going to say, is there an option for that?
There isn't specifically a teleprompter as you may be imagining it, but that's a great piece of feedback for our product team. And also, you can sort of mimic that.
Okay.
By you can like screen capture slides or a Google Doc.
Yes.
And build a video that's like a teleprompter, right? And then play that back as you're then recording yourself. So it's like, that's a kind of a workaround. You kind of have to smash two things together, make the first video with the scroll of your doc or slide. And then you could use that as your teleprompter when you go back and record the second piece of the video.
I still think that's a really great way for students to critically think, right? Because in the beginning, they may not know what to say. With my students, and sometimes even with myself, I had sticky notes behind my screen. Alex is laughing because he's probably done the same thing. And then I thought, okay, well, now I can get a teleprompter app on my phone and use that. So I use that now sometimes. But I just think it's interesting. I don't know if we're having those conversations with students because they're consuming content on TikTok. I'm watching that content thinking, this CapCut software is like crazy, and it also intimidates me. And I have, somewhat of a degree in multimedia and graphic design, and it really overwhelms me. So I'm not sure. I love that WeVideo is simple, and my son, like, he recorded that video today. It was very intuitive for him to click on that video and record it. But I think it's really about what Alex has done here, this connection, right? The connection that you are creating, putting yourself out there, which I think I'm going to applaud you on that, because a lot of teachers, even teachers that I work with who are in teaching broadcasting, do not want to be on that video screen. They don't want to put themselves out there. And would you agree that there is a little bit of fear? Do you think that's what it is with this safety and security that we were talking about earlier, where everybody said that's one of the things everybody needs to learn? Do you think that we've taken that so seriously that then we're fearful of ever being on a voice recording or a video?
Well, I think that what you just said with voice recording, Tisha, what comes to mind for me is now deep fake, like that being out right now, where we've got scams going on where people are, mimicking voices of children, trying to get grandparents to send thousands of dollars of money. So we've reached that level of where tech can be used not for good. So, that is something that's very eye-opening for me. And the better that we prepare our kids, the better they'll be able to differentiate between scams and, biased information, and be able to make decisions for themselves in the best possible way.
I was thinking about that when we were talking about AI earlier, about the deep faking and the media content that's created using AI, and the ability for students to discern what's real and what's not. And the way to do that is to, in my mind, is to make sure you're actively producing media, so you learn what that process is.
It's interesting. I always like to bring fun facts. My webinars, Alex knows this, but I was watching Scream 4 the other day with my daughter. I just happened to sit down with her, right? And it was the scene where people are getting phone calls, and it's the exact same thing. They are faking the voice and sounding like a loved one, right? And I just thought to myself, and I looked it up, that movie was in 2011. And they were already kind of showing that technology, and now we are living that. It's real. How do we teach our students how to decipher if it's really me on the phone or if it's somebody who's fake, right? How do we even approach that? I think one of the comments on our Mentimeter was how to evaluate websites and digital info and how to know misinformation. But I'm even going to take that a step further. How are you able to know that Alex's video is really Alex? Or if Alex calls me on the phone, it's really Alex calling me. How do I know?
The sense of humor, Tisha. You'd be able to bring up a couple things and you'd know it was me. But, you know, I feel the one thing that I'm going to quickly take away is, number one, we need a Scream 4 reference at all of our future webinars. That's number one. And number two, I think it's really about immersing our students in it outside of Digital Citizenship Week. You know, that project that I did with my students, where, again, it is the most impactful one of my life. I was making it rain Wakelet stickers on children. It was wonderful. You know, we did that in the middle of February. We did
for
that.
The fun of it, Alex, you should post that video for everybody to see, because it is one of your best videos. Yeah. I remember it was my first video that I ever saw you create. Oh, God. And I remember thinking, who is this person that's putting himself out there just so authentically? I celebrated it and I thought, would I be willing to do that? But those kids really connect with that. They connect with you kind of putting yourself in that space with them, knowing that they can come back real critical, especially if you're teaching middle school.
Oh, yeah. I need to see this now. You have to share that. I must see this.
I definitely will. It's a long one, Ryan. It's a long burn. It's 17 minutes. But yes, I will share that with you. It was just something that is so memorable for me because the kids bought into it. And I had other teachers collaborate with me. And, you know, there were instances where my videos, I'd look at a crowd of children and it would be crickets every now and again. But I figured if I got them, my biggest critics, to buy in, laugh a little bit, I knew I was doing my job. So, you know, I'm just really hopeful that regardless of it being Digital Citizenship Week next week, I'm hopeful that everybody will really consider taking a look at this template where each child is kind of assigned one of the core competencies of digital citizenship. They make a WeVideo about it, and then they're synergizing ideas together. And what I also did, so that students don't have to go scrambling everywhere for great resources, is I provided between the DigCit Institute, the DigCit Commit, Common Sense Education, and then this great video that kind of summarizes digital citizenship.
I mean, we should have just shared this one collection of yours, Alex, because you sort of took what Ryan and I shared on our resources and you really made it meaningful. So honestly, it's one of your best collections. When you shared that out, I was like, this is a good one. I think it's interesting. I want to ask you this question because we've been talking about video, and I know, just because I know teachers, and Ryan, you know teachers, and Alex, you work with teachers, but there are those teachers who are probably looking at Alex's collection or the resource collection or even some of the lessons that Ryan shared, thinking, you know, I can't even get my students to talk to me regular. How am I going to get them to do a TED Talk? So my question for the two of you is, what are some easy assignments, some easy projects that we can use to foster digital citizenship in classrooms really throughout the year? Do you have any tips for those teachers who are wondering that?
Yeah, I think that we get this question a lot, right? Like, how do I get started, or how can I get buy-in? Like, I like to Alex, you use that phrase. How do you get buy-in from people that might be sitting on the fence about, you know, making videos with students or allowing students or getting them in front of that? And exactly with what you said, how am I going to get them to open up this way if I haven't been able to get them to open up this way? And I always say, start small, start with a manageable chunk for the students to do and scaffold the experience. Right. Short about me videos like your son did. Right. That's a great low barrier, like, activity. Have them, and they don't even have to do it in front of the camera. Right. They can, there's a voice recording feature where they could use images that represent them and talk over that. So they're not even on screen. And I think just, you know, start simple, start small, start with manageable chunks of your time and your students' time. Right. Because I know people think a lot like video is going to suck up my instructional minutes, and it doesn't have to if you start small and you learn how to build it into these moments over time. So I'd say start with like that reflection. It's an easy one to get going on.
I would also say that, you know, as I said earlier, offering them choice, you know, having it where, okay, I don't like this one, but I do like this prompt option. And I also feel like, Ryan kind of said it, you have that option to just simply record audio on WeVideo. Sometimes this camera staring right back at me, it can be a little intimidating, especially to students who don't have that level of experience other than maybe doing a TikTok or something for Instagram. So I just feel like giving them that choice, giving them that option to simply record audio where they don't have to be on screen. I think that those are great ways to really start facilitating that buy-in and that desire to want to participate.
I posted Sarah's comment up on the screen because I really think this is always my tip. I've always said this, and I did this with teachers and students alike. So if I ever needed to introduce a concept or a new digital platform, whatever that was, I always started off with something fun. And, sometimes I would get pushback as a digital learning coach or a teacher because it would be called like, you're wasting time, Tisha. Why are you not in the content right away? And I said, well, I need them to get, like you said, there has to be buy-in. They have to see some value in it before I can ever level them up to those standards, ISTE standards, state standards, whatever it is. So I put Sarah's comment on the screen because I think it's very important to give them joy and fun when they are creating, because we all know, I've talked about this multiple times, a lot of our students are leaving those brick and mortar classrooms, and they are leaving that classroom after listening to a teacher talk all day, right? Instead of that engaged learning, and they are going out and they're getting on their VR headsets or they're playing Pokemon Go. I spent 4 hours last night, you guys, with a group of teenage boys playing Pokemon Go. Kid you not. And the collaboration, the critical thinking that was happening, the strategy behind where we need to stand and where we need to drive and how we need to beat this care. Like, there's so much that is happening when they leave school that we have to find ways to connect with them when they're in class. And so I really just wanted to point out Sarah's comment, because I think that, Alex, that's what you're doing. You're bringing a level of fun to it before you lead them into those deeper lessons, right? Or project-based learning projects that you have going on. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Sarah, thank you so much for adding that, because I think that's a really, really great tip. Okay, so we have some resources for you. I'm going to pop those in the chat. I promise. Don't panic. You're going to get your certificate. You're going to get all the resources. You're going to get everything Alex shared and everything that Ryan shared. One of those resources will be, go ahead, Alex, and click that for me, the Wakelet Ambassador Student Sign Up link. You will go to this, you will enroll your students, and as a teacher, you will get every single thing you need to start that program. And remember, once you get it set up, it is totally up to you. Feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is there, or X, as we're now calling it. You also can email me, Tisha@wakelet.com, and I can help you, give you some insight into that. But it is a really, really cool program that you can tie WeVideo in with. So just remember that. You can really make it your own. And then the next resource after that is, and you don't have to necessarily click this one, Alex, but it is a fun graphic here. We want you to join the Wakelet community. We have a really fun community. All of you who are joining from WeVideo, we want you to be part of our community. We have lots of different levels that you can join in on. And that community of educators, they're incredible. Just like Alex, they are willing to share whatever they have and let you make copies of their existing collections and really revamp it for your use. And then after that, resource events, don't click on that one because we're the event today. But you can keep up with upcoming events. And then Ryan, you've got some projects that you want to share with them as well.
Yeah, and I touched on this farther up in the collection, but we have video projects that are hosted on our website that you can access and use in your classroom. They are, again, ISTE standards aligned. So if you are promoting the ISTE standards in your context, they will all be aligned there. And there's about, I think, 25 of them in there, and they range from the ones that I showed about Digital Citizenship Week to digital storytelling activities to social emotional learning activities and cross-curricular content as well. So you can head over there and grab some ideas to start, using video and getting your students creating multimedia.
Absolutely. So I have put the resources link in the chat for all of you. You are going to be able to have all of these things that we've shared with you today, as well as to connect with all three of us. So at the bottom of this collection, you can connect with Alex or Ryan or myself. We're always here to help you and give you any support that you need or any ideas when it comes to Wakelet or WeVideo or the app Smash or even just digital citizenship in general. Any last thoughts that you guys want to share while I am giving out certificates?
Well, thank goodness the certificates are getting out there, Tisha. I know that we're all very concerned, but we're excited to have everybody joining in today.
Absolutely.
I'm excited by the fact that this helped me, reconnect with Ryan as well and really delve back into the platform with WeVideo. I had a load of fun. The kids did too. Please take at least one thing away from this webinar and use it in your own class.
And Ryan, you have a challenge for our attendees, right?
We do, yeah. And this is a challenge for all users of WeVideo, tongue-tied there. So again, if you do not have a subscription to WeVideo, you can sign up for a 30-day trial and still participate in this challenge. It is a challenge around Digital Citizenship Week. So if you are planning on digital citizenship activities in your classroom and you choose a video activity, you can use those that we showcased today from the assignment ideas library, or your own content that you plan on doing with your students and transform it into a video project. We are issuing a challenge for teachers to submit high quality exemplars of student examples of a digital citizenship video that they are producing. And we've included a Google form in the collection in which you can submit those videos to us. It goes to me and a few of my colleagues. And they will, it's a challenge on a contest. There's no winners, but we're hoping to showcase the work of the students that submit to us through the teachers, right? It's going to be a submission through the classroom teacher, but it is going to, we're highlighting student work that's created, around Digital Citizenship Week. So it's going to run afterwards too, on into November. And so we're excited about that. So please participate.
So I put that link in the chat, Ryan. Yes. So those of you who are in the chat, the WeVideo challenge form link is there. You'll also get it in the resources. The resource link is above that. So scroll up to find that. I just want to say, before I give that link out, okay, Alex, I just want to say thank you to both of you. We have planned a lot for this webinar. We have gotten together. We've learned a lot, I think, from each other. We've had lots of fun discussions, but I think what really unites us is that we want to empower students. We want to empower all of you as educators, and we want to continue that discussion with you on digital citizenship. I'm going to say, go sign up for that student ambassador program. Use the student ambassador program along with WeVideo to really bring some of those conversations to your classroom. And have fun with it, right? Like, that is the main thing. It's okay. I think we have to remember it's okay for us to have fun. We a lot of times get super serious when we're talking about digital citizenship because it's scary and it's fearful and it's social media. And oh my gosh, we shouldn't be on social media, but we can empower our students every single day. And so, that's going to be my challenge. Even to the two of you, I don't know if you're going out there playing Pokemon Go for 4 hours like me, or if you're even putting on an AR VR headset when you get home, or maybe you're playing Fortnite. I'm not sure. But my challenge to you is, in order to model that for our students, we need to be putting ourselves in some of those scenarios. So, if you're on Pokemon Go, Alex or Ryan, let me know and we can be friends.
Maybe someday.
You have your own account, Tisha, or this was just helping your son?
Oh, Alex, listen, you don't even know. I do have my own account. Oh, I am on level 25, and I am learning all of, and I've only signed up for maybe a month. I'm on level 25, Ryan. I'm telling you, I'm learning the ropes. But the truth is, I really wanted to, I've always been that way. I want to immerse myself in what our students are doing, because if I can get in there and see what it is, I can also leverage it for learning. And I have the ability to speak to some of those things that they're used to, use that language, and then connect it to some of their life skills that they're going to need. So it was really, really a fun time. I know a lot of people would not say that about hanging out with teenage boys, but they were telling me where to drive, and they were telling me the best pass. And, you know, it was a really good time. So I'm just, Linda says, was this recorded? She got busy and missed it. Linda, you're going to be able to go back and review it, whether it's on the WeVideo Wakelet channel or WeVideo YouTube channel or Wakelet. You can go watch it as many times as you want. It's always going to be here. Thank you both for joining me. And thank you to all of you for taking time out of your day, whether you're watching the replay or you are watching live. Make sure to follow WeVideo on all the social platforms. Ryan, it's at WeVideo, right?
At WeVideo, that's it. Yep. Simple.
And make sure you follow Ryan as well. His Twitter handle is there. Alex's Twitter handle is there, X. And make sure you follow along on Wakelet. Wakelet is on all the platforms as well, at Wakelet. And until next time, we'll see you guys soon. Have a great week.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.